Hey guys, welcome to Odds Everyday. Today I'm going to teach you how to build this lovely side table. So guys, let's get started with this build. Now, I will be using some wood that I bought online, and I will leave you on the description the link to get exactly the wood that I will be using for both the legs and the top. Now the legs are being composed of four 2-inch by 2 feet cherry. The top and side are 4-inch wide boards by 2 feet, and they're going to be out of hard maple. Now the first thing that we're going to do is measure our top and make it a glue up. I am going to measure the top to be a little bit over 16 inches, so I can actually get it 16 by 16. It's a little bit over because later I'm going to cut it down the sides to make sure everything is nice and straight after the glue up. So I'm just going to be a little bit over. I don't want it to be shorter because then my entire table is going to be shorter. After you cut your top, we're actually gonna measure out our legs. We're gonna shrink these legs down to about 20 inches because I want to make a low table. That's gonna end up being about 21 since the thickness of the top is 1 inch. After we cut our legs, I'm going to start up on the glue up process. Now this is a straight glue up. Just make sure everything's nice and straight as much as you can, and make sure they don't bow or they slip up or down, because you actually want to try to sand as least as possible and keep all your straight edges at the sides so you don't have to cut off too much, and you do end up with a 16 by 16 tabletop. Remember not to smudge out the excess glue. Just leave it there, let it dry. We're gonna remove it later. It's gonna be much easier than try to wipe it down right now. That is a tip I should always remember with glue ups. Now we're gonna measure our side. Now these sides, I decided to make them 10 3/8. This way, when you actually line all of them up, you get almost an inch all the way around after you assembled it. So you're gonna have an inch overhang of the top, and that's pretty much what I wanted to do. So that's why I went with 10 3/8 on every single side. So you just need 4 of these, cut them out of the 2 extra pieces that you have from the box, and you're good to go. The next step is starting to work on our tabletop. The first thing that we need to do is chisel out all the excess glue, and make sure that you do this carefully so you don't rip out any parts of the tabletop. Now you can't do this with a scraper or whichever method you like. If you just want to sand it down, go ahead, just make sure you go little by little. Now sanding here is very important. Make sure you do it very evenly across the board and don't sit on any one spot so you don't get any bulges on the top of the tabletop. Now I do recommend to go at least 3 steps on your grids. I went 80, 120, and 220, and that is where I stayed. Make sure you do make your passes, make sure you get everything, all the sides, and then we move on to sanding the legs as well and every single side piece. Make sure everything is ready to go. Now, little disclaimer, you may see that these legs are tapered. I did taper them on 2 sides just because I want to give it that little style. I did not film the tapering part because I was not too sure of how safe I was cutting these because I did not have my table saw at the moment, but I did cut them with the miter saw, and it was pretty safe. It just wasn't too stable and I wouldn't recommend it. I'm not going to do it again. I'm going to try to build a jig for it. So that's why I will not be showing that. But if you want, I just gave a 5-degree taper on 2 sides of every leg, and that is it. The first thing you want to do is glue up 2 sides. Now make sure they align very straight and nicely. Now I am leaving the middle, I'm grabbing the middle board and I'm going to put it more to one side, so the edge is not going to be as big. As I'm not centering with the middle of the leg. I'm actually going to offset it a bit, so the difference is not so much, and when you see the finished result, it actually looks very, very nice when you offset it and you don't put it on the actual center of the leg. Now when you're doing this, make sure that you have your tapers how they go, because you're going to do 2 sides and then you're going to put the 2 middles on, connecting both pieces that you just created. So make sure they are angled and directing the correct way. Your tapers go to the insides of every single side. After the two pieces have dried, make sure you dry assemble and just put everything together. Make sure you see how it turns out, and then connect them with your other two pieces that you have left. And this whole project, I will not be using any screws. I decided to go straight with glue. Now, these pieces are technically not putting too much support. They're just holding things together. So I'm gonna be fine. This is side table. I'm not gonna put in a ton of weight on it. It's just pretty much a coffee table, a side table. You're just gonna lay the remote or your coffee mug. So it's gonna be perfectly fine. Now, if you don't feel safe with it, you can go ahead and put some screws. I can tell you that I've already stood up onto this table and it holds me, so it's gonna be enough. Make sure you clamp down everything, make sure everything is straight, make sure everything is just how you want it before you let it dry. Please let enough time to dry so it's cured and it's strong. After the entire piece is dried, make sure you lay your tabletop, make sure you grab the correct side and choose which one you want to be displayed. Make sure it aligns correctly, just with the 1 inch everywhere all the way around, like in my case, and just apply the glue to the top. If you have to make any modification, if it's not sitting straight, grab your sander and sand down whatever you need. Make sure everything is nice. Put some glue on the top. Don't put too much glue so you don't have excess glue running down everywhere, and just clamp down your tabletop. Make sure it aligns after you've already clamped it down, because it is going to move. So make sure you're checking as you're putting each clamp and then just let it dry. For my finish, I decided to go with a polyurethane. I did 3 coats, and this is a water-based, and it just turned out absolutely beautiful. I couldn't be any happier with this project. It is just absolutely gorgeous. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this build. I know I did. It was a very personal build for me. It turned out great. It's actually better than what I expected. It's a great piece of furniture for your house or great for a gift. If you enjoyed it, please let me know that in the comments down below and give it a thumbs up, and make sure to subscribe. Don't forget to check out all the other builds that I have in my channel. So thank you again, and I'll see you in the next build.